Welcome back. What have we got on the bench today? Hope you're well, by the way. We have a set of highly sought after, rare, vintage, 1985 Blue Label Formula 602 heavy hi-hats. Now, I've wanted a set of Formula 602 14-inch hi-hats for quite the longest time, but couldn't justify the brand new price for one. So looking on the second-hand market here in Australia, it was a challenge to find a set that would fit in my budget. I could have stretched and got them brand new if I wanted to, but I really didn't want to pay close to $1,000 for a set of hi-hats. That's Australian, by the way. So I resigned myself to just keep looking semi-regularly on the used market here in Australia, places like Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, Cashies. That's where these are from, Cashies. So on the odd chance yesterday, I decided to fire up the Cashies site and go and have a look, and bang, these guys turned up. And I could not find out quick enough where they were located in Australia, and thank goodness they were located very close to me. Very close. I literally had less than an hour to drive from my place to that store and collect them. And collect them I did. That was yesterday. Here's the receipt. Look at that price that I paid for them. Australian, by the way. Yeah, $149 Australian. Yeah, I got a good buy. Gems like that don't fall from the sky often, but when they do, I'm glad. And if you're out there saying, I wish things like that would happen to me, then just keep waiting, and they likely will. Alrighty, with that out of the way, what do we got? We have sequential serial numbers too, by the way. The top is 507 or 507691, and the bottom is 507690. Awesome. The top weight in gram is 1,063 grams, and the bottom is 1,130 grams. They are in a sweet spot for these guys. Absolutely beautiful. So let's have a look. As you can see, the top one's pretty bad. We'll get to that in a moment. This is the bottom, as indicated by the blue ink that says bottom. There's the stamp. And here's what's really important. All uppercase. Paiste 602, serial number starting in 5, denotes 1985. If all of these blue labels were removed, and believe me, I don't want to remove them, but if they were, serious Paiste people know that this is from the blue label era, just on that serial number and stamp. So we're golden there. But I'm going to try and preserve what's left of these labels, blue labels, as much as I can. Nothing on the bottom. I'm not sure if they did stamp a blue Paiste on the other side of that, but not on this one. So this is the top. Again, let's bring that in there so no one can say, the top's not a 602. It is. There you go. Starts in 5, Paiste 602. Right. What's all the green? Funny you should say that. It's copper. That's what it looks like when it oxidizes. Or if you're walking by a mountain and you see a green hue. This is what miners were looking for back in the old days. But anyway, I digress. There are no dings. There are no flea bites. There are no cracks. These are in great condition. They just look pretty grubby, especially this top one. And this copper oxidization / patina, I will remove it, but you can see the halo shadow around the outside of that. That is likely going to remain on the symbol. So they are stained. Unfortunately, I will try to remove it as gently and delicately as possible while respecting the symbol. This is an instrument. It's a musical instrument. It was handmade. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's vintage. It's highly sought after. I'm not going to mess around too much with this, but I am going to try to preserve them so they are around for a lot longer than had someone just left them in this state, which is likely moist, damp, humidity, blah, blah, blah. Again, no labels on the bottom of this. Beautiful little symbol. Absolutely in great condition. As I said, there's no keyholing, flea bites, cracks, anything. It's just great. It's just a bit grotty. Now, remnants of... There's the stamp. So you would have the blue label here and the heavy hi-hat top 14-inch around here. There are no remnants or very little of the blue label, not even a silhouette shadow that you sometimes get when you remove ink. But here, there is some slight, like F-O-R-M Formula A602. I can sort of read that here. It might be difficult for you because the color's all blown out, but I can definitely see it. So, as little as there is, I am going to try and keep it. But if it all removes, I'm not sad, because people who know that this is a blue label. Alrighty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them on a hi-hat stand, and we'll hear how they sound with a variety of 6. Oh, by the way, these cymbals were made extremely popular by this gentleman. That's Jeff Boccaro. This is his Regal tip stick, by the way. He made these guys extremely popular with his exquisite touch on the cymbal and drums in general. And they are highly sought after, mainly because of this guy and because they sound amazing. So they started production of these guys back in 1981, and they ceased or stopped production of the Blue Label Formula 602s in 1993. I think Robert Paiste at the time had problems with sourcing them from Swiss Metal. I think they went bankrupt, or they had financial difficulties, so they could no longer supply rolled B20 blanks to Paiste, and they were a local steel works place in where were they? Dornach, I think, or Swiss Metal, Notwil. I think they were across the river or the lake. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, they had financial difficulties and they had to shut down, hence no more B20 blanks for Paiste, hence why we had a hiatus of this particular line of cymbals for a while, and they came back, I think, when did they come back? Yeah, I think they came back in about 2011, and these more later, heavier models didn't come out, like the new sets of Formula 602 heavy hi-hats in 14s. I don't think you could get until 2019 or 2020, so very recent. So people were screaming out for this particular model since 1994, and finally they're back in the last 6 or so years. But anyway, bit of history there. Symbol.wiki is where you can read all about Paiste history. Type 85 has taken over Zenstad's Paiste wiki area and gone nuts. Anyway, I digress. Let's throw these on a hi-hat stand. Back in a sec. Alright, I've got them on a hi-hat stand. Let's go with Jeff's Regal tip sticks. There we go. They've been used. Alright, let's have a look. We have some focusing problems. There we go. Very nice. Some Vicks nylon tips. Okay, we're back. As you can see, we're in the laundry sink. So let's give these a bit of a clean. So my method is go as gentle as possible and then move up to more aggressive methods. Always avoid using anything that's harsh and abrasive. We won't be going down that road. So what am I going to start with? Just going to start with some light warm soapy water. So let's get these wet. What I'm going to start with is just some very light soapy stuff. So I've got a microfiber towel here, which I'm going to just get nice and warm. And that's done. So this is just a bit of very light soap. And that's all I'm using, just a tiny little bit. So we'll give these a good scrub first. Just like this. We'll move up to more aggressive methods afterwards. But let's do this first. This will get the majority of the junk off. Fingerprints and oils and whatnot. So that's the bottom done. Let's get this top one done. This one's the one that's very, very horrible. But we'll assess what it looks like after this. As you can see, it's not removing a whole lot, but that's to be expected. We're using the least aggressive method first. We're trying to protect these, not ruin them, and as I said earlier, these are beautiful musical instruments. Alright, that's what they look like after the first round. You already know that the bottom is reasonable, but this top one here has a lot of copper oxidization, as denoted by all of the green blotches all over it. Let's see if I can hit those a bit more, see what happens. Not much. Alright, let's move up to the next. The next is a bit of citrus. So this is pH neutral. It is basically citrus cleaner. So I've got it in a 50-50 here. So this is basically 50% of this stuff in this bottle here, this white bottle, and the other 50% is just water. So we'll do that first. Spray that on. Again, we're going as light and as gentle as possible. We'll work up to heavier, more aggressive cleaning methods should we require them. But if we don't, I'm not going to. Alright, that's pretty well doused. Let's grab a nice soft bristle brush. I'll give that a bit of a wet. Hit this with a bit more cleaner. And let's go. Alright. Going now. This is going to be a long video. This is so gentle that it's not going to do much to these labels in this cleaning stage. There you go, not much of a change, but tiny little bit. Definitely not much of a change on this top one, but you get some of the mark off. That's good. Let's have a look. Still got green green patina spots. We'll need to go a little bit more aggressive. So I'm not going to move up to a different detergent yet, or different all-purpose cleaner. It's going to go with a nail brush. It's a little bit more coarser than the soft bristle brush that I was just using. So spray a bit on, put a bit on that top symbol there, and then let's see how that goes. And let this sit on there. I'm actually going to go straight to 100% orange on this. So we'll give that a good liberal application. Same with the brush. And let's go. My head in the way? No. Looks like we're going to have to step up to the more aggressive stuff in a moment, but let's just continue on with this. This one's not too bad, so. Alright, let's give it a rinse. Alright, so how are we looking after that? Let's find out. So still a lot of green spot there. Alright, let's move up to the next. Let me just grab that. Barkeeper's Friend Soft. So, do have to be careful of labels with this one, so let's clean the brush, clean the microfiber of all detergent. Now this stuff I'm going to cut with some water, so let me just find a little container to make a cut. Found one behind, got a little bucket here. Little tiny bit of water in there. Shake this up good. I need to buy some more, I'm running out. Squirt some in there. It's probably 25% Barkeepers and the rest water. Very light, very gentle. If I need to go 100%, I can do that afterwards. But if I go 100% now and strip all of the labels off, yeah, I'll feel like a dill. All right, we're going to use microfiber on this one. And let's see how this goes. Bit too gentle, I think. Doing something. I'll just do a full coverage of that. I'll just move to this one quickly, because this one is pretty good. I don't want to do too much to this bottom hi-hat, as it is reasonably clean. Yeah, I could get this thing sparkling, but I'm trying to preserve it, but have it, you know, better than it is now, which is pretty dirty, especially that top symbol. So I'm not going to do much more to this bottom symbol. I'm pretty happy with how that is. I might do another pass of this bottom symbol with 100% Barkeepers, but let's see how we go. Just going to pull that out for a sec. All right, back to this one. It's my dog. You go see what the doggo's up to. Oh. Reminds me of Terry Keating. Moxie! Anyway. I think Moxie's no longer with us. That's so sad. Anyway. So as you can see, I'm just lightly putting on this, I don't know, 33 to 66 water barkeeper's friend mixture. Just keeping it gentle, not going too aggressive, seeing how we go. And yeah, just as I thought, those stains are going to be a massive problem. Alright, we are going to go 100%. Well, let's go. I'm going to put it onto the cloth, not directly onto the symbol. Smush it in, and let's go. Alright. This stuff's amazing, by the way, on symbols. This stuff. But, you know, go gentle. I should be wearing gloves too, but here we are. Any remnants of that blue label ink is probably long gone now. I knew that going into it, however, so I'm not too worried. Alright. That is still a problem. Alright, let's move up. This is about as aggressive as I get. This is a melamine sponge. Very light abrasive, but it is an abrasive. And I am going to go super gentle with this. So that barkeeper's friend water mix that I made earlier, let's just get this melamine sponge completely doused in it. And I'm only going to go, first of all, let's go on the bottom side and just do a little spot test. I'm trying to avoid anything too aggressive. Not any more dots here on the edge. Yeah, we've got a big stain there. Let's see what it looks like. Yep, that's about as much as I want to do. Right, so let's try this little dot right here. As you can see, hardly anything. I'm really trying to avoid having to recoat these symbols, but I will if I have to. It's a reasonably easy process. If you want to know how to do it, I do have a video up, or you can go watch Type 85's video on YouTube as well, as that's where I learned how to do mine from him. And I've done several now, and they all have turned out great. I'm just hitting these major patina spots. I'm trying to knock out the. It's very rough. Well, it's not now actually. It's a bit smoother because this guy's done his job, but I want to stop it from further oxidizing. And the only way I'm probably going to be able to do that moving forward is to recoat it. But anyway, let's see how we go. So I'm just putting a bit of 100% Barkeeper's Friend Soft on this melamine now. Moving up aggression levels. And let's hit it. I'm pretty much using the edge or the tip of the sponge. Just for giggles. Let's see how much I can get the bell to pop. Alright, let's give it a quick rinse, so just so you can have a look without all the soap all over it. Alright, so what are we looking like? As I guessed, those stains are very stained. I'm going to aggressively hit this with Barkeeper's Friend and this sponge and see if I can get it to look any better. At this point, I don't have to worry about it. I'm putting it straight on the symbol. I may even let it sit on there for a while. Just let it eat into it. Alright. Let's do the underside as well. Might as well while I'm here. We're at that point now. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for a few moments. We'll come back in a sec. Okay, it's been about a minute or two. Very light, I'm not applying much pressure. Yep, they're pretty much stained, just like I thought, which is a real shame, but it should not, and I don't believe it's going to affect the sound hardly at all. Not perceivable anyway. If we had a really good mic and looked at the hertz, possibly, but no, you'll barely notice a difference. Let's get all this off. Okay. So what you're looking at is rust. Basically, this is rust forming on this metal. And what I'm trying to do is remove that surface rust and stop it from rusting any further. So it's only going to get worse and worse from this point. So, but, you know, we're talking 20 years likely, so there's plenty of life left in these. I'm just feeling how bad that roughness is on those rough spots, or those rusty spots, corrosive spots, corrosion spots. I do want to knock off any burrs that might be on them, and this is as aggressive as I'm going to go on these. Anything more and you're just asking for trouble. That's it. That's all I'm willing to do. It is what it is. You have to know when to stop. And my stopping time is now. That's it. Okay, I'm going to dry these off. I'll probably hit them with an IPA just to dry all of the moisture up in any microscopic grooves, because that's how all this started. I'll be back. Okay, so off camera, I just dried them and then sprayed IPA, isopropyl alcohol, over them just to sap up and wick away any remaining moisture in those micro cracks and grooves and whatnot. Yeah, so this bottom one, because I didn't hit it hard with the barkeeper's friend, it has still got that nice B20 hue to it. This guy, however, as you can see, has lightened up quite a little bit, and that green patina on there, it is still a little rough. I am very, very hesitant to want to go any further on that. I may in the future, but at this stage I'm going to leave it. And the actual Formula 602 blue label ink, I thought I removed it, but it's still here. I can still see it. Oops, there you go. Barely, but it's there. That's cool. All right. And yeah. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, my hands. I'm going to hit it with IPA again. And then I'm just going to do a light automotive lazy wax in this case. So it's carnauba wax, it's a spray wax. It won't last very long, but you know, 2 or 3 months. But if I keep up with this coating on it, it'll protect it. I could leave it like this and it'll just naturally age out like a, you know, a normal B20 bronze would. But I'm going to give it some light protection. I really just don't want these to get any worse or develop further ones than what they already are. My guess is something was splashed on here, and then it was left to sit like it, and it just sat on the cymbal and just slowly ate away at it. It looked like it's been hit by rain or something. I don't know. I have no idea of the history. Either way, let's get a bit of IPA on there now. Just to get my grotty prints off it. Look at that nice B20 luster. So as I said, IPA, alcohol. Alright, let's quickly get a coating of wax on it. This stuff's easy. It's a spray wax. It's designed for paints on automotive in the industry. So cars and trucks, you know, pickups, utes, whatever. Good stuff. Easy. Liberal coating. Both sides. Gonna let that sit for a sec. I'll do the bottom as well. Not that it needs it, but do it anyway. And just give it a bit of protection. Alright. This is Bowden's Own. It's an Australian brand up in Queensland. Make super good products for the automotive industry. Can highly recommend them. But any spray wax from any manufacturer is likely going to get you over the line. Just check that it contains a lot of carnauba in it. That's the secret. Yeah, it's probably not a great idea using my hand to smush all this around, but whatever. I wish I could get all that off better. You really don't want to take to that with any type of machine polisher or anything polishing. Alrighty, let that sit for a sec. Great. Grab the top one, get the excess off. I don't feel the need to go down the road of doing a full lacquer seal on these yet. I'm quite happy with how they are. As I said, these are really sought after. I don't want to mess with them. I just don't. It's about as far as I'm willing to go. While they're under my custodianship, this is likely what I'm going to leave them as. If they ever get passed on to someone else, then they can decide what they want to do with them then. Beautiful. Yep, perfect. So look, not the outcome I was hoping for, but I was being realistic. I said that at the outset, that likely all that staining, and of course someone had phoned me. We're back. So what was I saying? Yeah, I wish I could get rid of those, but as I indicated when I first showed these, after I picked them up, that they're stained, and that's that. You just have to live with it. I could get aggressive, but I'm not going to. Alright, there you go. That's how they've turned out. We'll throw them. We'll let that wax just dry a little bit, and then we'll throw them on the hi-hat stand and see how they sound. Okay, they've had their little bath cleanup and seal put on them. Let's hear how they sound now. So again, whoops, we're going to use the Regal Tip Jeff Porcaro model, and see how they go. Alrighty, do some nylon tips, 5As. There you go. Pair of 14-inch heavy hi-hats, blue label, Paiste Formula 602s from 1985. From 149 bucks at Cashies. I know, an absolute steal. To what you see here now and what you hear now, I think it's a great buy. I think they turned out pretty good. It would be awesome if I could get rid of these oxidization copper patina dots, but as I've stated earlier, I'm happy with how it is now. Sealed with the Canuba wax on it. If I need to do a lacquer finish on it later on, I will, but at this stage, I'm happy with how they are. So I'm likely going to take these to next rehearsal and see how they go, because I like them. They are loud, by the way. I didn't think they were going to be as loud as they are, but if you lay into these, they will get loud. We'll see how they integrate into the band mix, and you know, when I get there. But thank you for watching. I hope you have a really cool day. Okay, this is just a little supplemental follow-up video to my Paiste Formula 602 14-inch heavy hi-hat blue label top cymbal, which I had a bunch of copper corrosion. I think they call it, what's it called? Starts with a V. And I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Essentially, it's copper rust. And rather than hit this cymbal with anything abrasive or polishing, I've opted to get a bit of Barkeeper's Friend Soft, and I've just used a paintbrush like this, and as you can see, I've dabbed it on and I'm letting it sit on there for quite a while, anything from 15 minutes to half an hour, and I'm just letting it lift off that and eat into that green copper crust that's formed. It likely won't get the stain out, but it will assist in removing that granular copper green which has been sitting on top. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll rinse it off shortly, but you can just see a spot that I need to cover up. So I've just basically tipped a bit of Barkeeper's Friend in the lid and just been applying it where I can see the dots and just letting it sit. Come back, recover over those dots if it's sapped it up, wicked it up. So yeah, that's where we're at with this at the moment. Be back shortly for the rinse off and we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, I've got the cymbal in the sink, and we're going to remove all of the barkeeper's friend. First I'm going to try and do it with just my finger. Going to leave spots. Okay, that's fine. I sort of knew this. This is a last resort. It's non-abrasive Scotch Brite pad, an old one. I'm just going to use that right now. I know I'm in the way. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, that's what's happened. I've left the barkeeper's friend on and it's made dots on dots, which means I'm going to have to soak the whole thing in barkeeper's friend and let it sit. And that's alright, I knew that. Well, it's definitely taken the green off. Not so much the staining, however, that still remains. Ah, fun times. Alright, I'm going to do a whole smear of barkeeper's friend on this to eliminate my new halo of dots that I have on it now. Okay, I've sat there and I've scrubbed it off camera for a good 15 minutes. So let's rinse it off and see what it looks like. Sorry about the light. Wow. I'll get some better shots in better light shortly. Well, that's certainly better. Still stained, but nowhere near as bad. So I can't complain. I will have to recoat this cymbal, however. Yeah. We're getting there. It's not there yet. I'm going to let it sit for a bit longer with some more barkeeper's friend. See if I can get a better result. But that's good so far. Very happy with that. Look at that B20, it's popping. Alright. Alright, let's give it a scrub. Gloves on. Ugh. Alright. Gross. Not too much downward pressure, but enough. Oh my goodness, this thing's going to end up brilliant, which I don't want that. So I'm going to have to let it sit out and patina out for some time and then coat it then? Question mark. Well, it's certainly better than what it was. Wow. That is a marked improvement. It ain't perfect, but it never will be. But geez, that's a lot better. That's the worst spot right there. Okay. Good to know. Rinse off well. Very, very well, including my gloves. That's warm. Okay. There we go. Certainly is better than what it was, but it will never be perfect. Yeah, I am happy with that. Right, let's get this dry. See how we go. Okay, so here we are. After some treatment. There's the bottom for contrast about how much Barkeeper's Friend has changed the color of the top symbol. But those spots have improved markedly. To which I am very happy. And yeah, there we go. I have just put a light seal coat of wax on this automatic spray wax just for the time being. I'm likely going to let this patina out for a bit, so I'll take the wax off, let it patina out, and then I will think about coating it. But you know, I've got to get this colour match sorted out, so yeah. Alrighty. Hopefully you found that interesting. See ya.